Welcome back to the Daily Compound. I'm your host, King Compound, here with your 5-minute lesson to make your money and your mind compound. Quick note before we start. The Daily Compound isn't financial advice. It's here to help you understand money, mindset, and the power of compounding knowledge. Always do your own research or speak with a licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions. Now, today's lesson is about a man who can move markets with a single sentence. Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve. You may not see him on your screen every day, but rest assured, every investor, trader, and slightly caffeinated economist on the planet watches his every word like it's the final season of their favorite show. So, who is Jerome Powell, and what does it mean when he cuts rates? Think of Powell as the king of interest rates. His job is to make sure the American economy doesn't overheat or freeze over. The Federal Reserve, or the Fed, controls something called the federal funds rate. That's the interest rate banks charge each other for short-term loans. But it doesn't stop there. That rate influences just about everything: mortgages, credit cards, business loans, even the interest on your savings account. So, when the Fed cuts rates, say by 0.25 percentage points, it's trying to make borrowing cheaper and money flow more freely through the economy. 0.25% might sound small, but in a $27 trillion economy, it's like loosening the belt after Thanksgiving dinner. Suddenly, everyone feels a little more comfortable spending. If you've got a mortgage, credit card, or small business loan, you might pay a little less. If you're a saver, you might earn a little less interest. And if you're an investor, well, that's where it gets fun. Markets often celebrate rate cuts with the enthusiasm of peasants hearing tax day has been cancelled. But here's where the joke's on us. Rate cuts usually mean something isn't going perfectly. The Fed cuts rates to stimulate growth when the economy looks a bit sluggish. It's like giving the system a shot of espresso. Too much caffeine, though, and everyone starts making risky decisions. Let's look at one famous example. 2008. When the global financial crisis hit, the Fed began cutting rates aggressively, all the way down to nearly zero. The goal was simple: keep money moving and prevent the economy from collapsing like a poorly built drawbridge. And in time, it worked. The recovery wasn't instant, but those low rates helped stabilize the markets, rebuild confidence, and spark one of the longest bull runs in history. But here's the catch. Low rates can also create bubbles. When money is cheap, people borrow more, take on more risk, and sometimes forget that what goes down must eventually go up. That's why every seasoned investor, or wise king, knows to enjoy the boom without feasting too greedily. Now, when you hear the Fed might cut rates again by 0.25%, it's important to understand both sides. The good news? Cheaper borrowing and a potential lift for the markets. The caution? It could be a sign the economy is slowing. So, what should a clever investor do? First, don't panic. Rate cuts are part of the economic cycle, not a royal decree of doom. Second, don't overspend just because money feels cheap. Remember, debt always collects its due. Sometimes with interest, sometimes with regret. And third, focus on consistency. Whether rates go up, down, or sideways, compounding rewards patience, not panic. Jerome Powell might control the levers of the economy, but you control how you react to them. Don't try to guess his next move. Prepare for all of them. Because the truth is, compounding doesn't care if the Fed raises or cuts. It only cares that you stay invested, stay disciplined, and let time do the heavy lifting. And if the markets start to wobble, remember, I've lived through wars, recessions, and one rather dramatic Kingdom Bake-Off scandal. The key is the same every time. Stay calm, stay consistent, and don't sell your crown jewels when the villagers panic. This is the Daily Compound, and I'm King Compound. 5 minutes a day. Smarter thinking for life.